Welcome to our exploration of Andrew Marvell's classic poem, To His Coy Mistress. This poem is a passionate plea from a lover to his beloved, urging her to seize the moment and embrace love before time runs out. Set against the backdrop of 17th century England, the poem weaves together themes of desire, mortality, and the fleeting nature of youth. As we journey through its lines, we'll uncover how Marvell uses wit, vivid imagery, and philosophical arguments to persuade his coy mistress to live for today. Let's begin by understanding the poem's context and the speaker's urgent tone. Poem opens with a direct address. The speaker, an anonymous lover, speaks to his coy mistress. He sets a familiar, teasing yet slightly stern tone, making it clear that he knows her well but disapproves of her reluctance. The word mistress here simply means a woman of authority, not the modern sense of the word. The speaker's goal is to convince her to stop delaying and embrace love before it's too late. This sets up the poem's central conflict, the tension between desire and hesitation, between seizing pleasure and waiting for the perfect moment. Imagine a world with endless time and space. The speaker begins his argument with a grand if they had all the time in the world, her coyness would be no crime. He paints a utopian vision where they could wander the earth, she by the exotic Ganges River in India, he by the familiar Humber in England. In this fantasy, distance and time are no obstacles. The speaker would write love poems forever, and his mistress could delay intimacy as long as she wished. This idyllic scenario sets the stage for the poem's logical structure. If time were infinite, love could be patient. Emphasize the vastness of his imagined love. The speaker references the biblical flood and the conversion of the Jews, stretching their hypothetical romance from the dawn of history to its end. These allusions serve to highlight the impossibility of such endless love in real life. By invoking these grand events, Marvell's speaker elevates his feelings, suggesting that only in a world without death could their love unfold at a leisurely, luxurious pace. Yet these references also remind us that such a world is purely fantasy. Continuing his fantasy, the speaker describes how he would spend eternity praising every part of his mistress's body. He would devote hundreds of years to her eyes and forehead, 200 years to each breast, and 30,000 years to the rest. This exaggerated praise follows the Renaissance poetic tradition known as the blazon, where a lover itemizes and adores each feature of his beloved. However, Marvell's use of hyperbole also hints at the absurdity and impossibility of such devotion in real life. At the end of his imagined eternity, the speaker claims that only then would his mistress reveal her heart. Here, the heart symbolizes her innermost self, her true feelings. This moment suggests that in a world without time constraints, emotional intimacy could be delayed indefinitely. The speaker's longing for her heart hints at a desire for genuine connection, not just physical pleasure. Yet this ideal is unattainable in the real world, reinforcing the urgency of the speaker's argument. Having painted a picture of endless, patient love, the speaker abruptly shifts to reality. He acknowledges that such a leisurely romance is impossible because time is always moving forward. This marks the poem's turn from fantasy to urgency. The speaker's tone becomes more pressing as he prepares to confront the harsh truth of mortality. The contrast between the ideal and the real sets up the core dilemma. Should they wait for perfect love or seize the moment before it slips away? Poem's most famous image appears, but at my back I always hear /time's winged chariot hurrying near. Here, time is personified as a relentless force always chasing the lovers. The chariot with wings intensifies the sense of speed and inevitability. This metaphor captures the anxiety of life's brevity and the pressure to act before it's too late. The speaker's awareness of time's approach transforms the tone from dreamy to desperate. Looking ahead, the speaker sees deserts of vast eternity, a bleak, endless expanse symbolizing death and the afterlife. Unlike traditional religious views of heaven or hell, Marvell's vision is secular and empty. Death is not a place of reward or punishment, but a void where beauty and pleasure are lost forever. This stark image heightens the urgency of the speaker's plea. Life is short, and after death there is nothing left to enjoy. Speaker laments that in death his mistress's beauty will vanish. Her marble vault, a metaphor for the grave, will be silent, and his songs of praise will go unheard. The poem's tone grows somber as the speaker dwells on the inevitability of decay. This meditation on mortality is both a warning and a motivator. Beauty and youth are fleeting, and only by acting now can they be truly appreciated. A shocking turn, the speaker describes how in the grave, worms shall try that long-preserved virginity. This grotesque image is meant to startle his mistress into action. He argues that her honor and his desire will both turn to dust and ashes, symbols of death and the end of passion. The grave, he insists, is a fine and private place, but none, I think, do their embrace. The message is clear: waiting too long means losing the chance for love and pleasure forever. The reality of death looming, the speaker urges his mistress to act while she is still young and beautiful. He describes her youthful hue as sitting on her skin like morning dew, a delicate, fleeting beauty that will soon evaporate. The metaphor emphasizes the transience of youth and the need to seize pleasure before it disappears. The speaker's argument grows more passionate and insistent. Speaker claims that his mistress's willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires. He suggests that her passion is visible, radiating from her body like heat. This vivid imagery implies that her outward coyness hides an inner desire. The speaker uses this argument to justify his plea, insisting that both of them are full of longing and should not waste time. Poem's thesis is delivered: now let us sport us while we may. Here, sport is a playful euphemism for making love. The speaker argues that since time is short and death inevitable, they should enjoy pleasure while they can. This line stands alone in the poem, emphasizing its importance as the core message. The speaker's tone is both persuasive and desperate, urging his mistress to embrace the present. To reinforce his argument, the speaker compares himself and his mistress to amorous birds of prey. This simile suggests that they should be bold and voracious in their pursuit of pleasure, devouring their time together rather than letting it slip away. The image is both passionate and slightly violent, emphasizing the intensity of their desire and the need to act quickly. Speaker urges them to devour their time at once, rather than languish in time's slow chap power. This metaphor suggests that if they don't seize the moment, time will slowly consume them, breaking them down bit by bit. The alternative to passionate love is a slow decline into oblivion. The speaker's argument becomes almost nihilistic. Since death is inevitable, pleasure is the only reasonable response. Speaker proposes that they roll all our strength and all slash our sweetness up into one ball. This unusual image may allude to the idea of soulmates seeking unity, as in Plato's Symposium. It suggests that by coming together, they can create something powerful and beautiful. The image is both touching and suggestive, reinforcing the theme of unity through love. Lovers are urged to tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. This metaphorical language suggests that their passion can break through the barriers imposed by time and mortality. The iron gates may symbolize virginity, societal constraints, or the boundaries of life itself. The speaker's tone is rebellious, advocating for love as a way to defy fate. In the poem's final couplet, the speaker admits they cannot make the sun stand still, but they can make him run. This means that while they cannot stop time, they can live so fully that time seems to chase after them. The metaphor reinforces the Carpe Diem message. By embracing love and pleasure, they can make the most of their brief lives. Throughout the poem, love and death are closely linked. The speaker's desire is heightened by the awareness of mortality. The poem suggests that the only way to respond to the inevitability of death is to embrace life's pleasures without restraint. This intertwining of love and death gives the poem its emotional power and urgency. Marvell's poem follows a logical structure known as a syllogism. If we had infinite time, coyness would be no crime, but we do not have infinite time, therefore we must seize pleasure now. This structure gives the poem a persuasive, argumentative quality as the speaker builds his case step by step. Marvell was part of the metaphysical poets, a group known for their philosophical intensity, wit, and elaborate metaphors. His Coy Mistress exemplifies this style, blending intellectual arguments with passionate emotion. The poem's use of paradox, hyperbole, and vivid imagery are hallmarks of metaphysical poetry. Interestingly, the mistress remains silent throughout the poem. She is defined by her refusal and her coyness, and we learn little about her thoughts or feelings. This silence makes the poem a dramatic monologue, focusing entirely on the speaker's perspective and desires. The poem uses apostrophe, directly addressing the mistress as lady. This device creates intimacy and immediacy, drawing the reader into the speaker's urgent plea. The lack of response from the mistress, however, emphasizes the one-sided nature of the argument. Time is not just an abstract concept in the poem, it is personified as a powerful, relentless force. The winged chariot and slow-chapped power give time agency and make it an active antagonist in the lover's story. This personification heightens the sense of urgency and conflict. The speaker frequently uses hyperbole, exaggerated statements to make his point. He claims he would spend 30,000 years praising his mistress's body and that worms will take her virginity in the grave. These over-the-top images are meant to shock, amuse, and persuade. Marvell's poem is rich with metaphors and similes. Love is compared to a slow-growing vegetable, youth to morning dew, and the lovers to birds of prey. These comparisons make abstract ideas vivid and immediate, drawing the reader into the emotional landscape of the poem. The poem's musicality comes from its use of alliteration, assonance, and consonance. These sound devices create a pleasing rhythm and help bind the poem's ideas together. The poem is written in rhymed iambic tetrameter couplets, giving it a fast-paced, punchy feel. Marvell skillfully varies his line structure, using enjambment to carry thoughts across lines and end-stopped lines to create pauses. These techniques reflect the speaker's shifting emotions, sometimes controlled and logical, sometimes overwhelmed by passion or anxiety. Symbols play a key role in the poem. The heart represents true emotional connection, while dust and ashes symbolize death and the end of desire. These images reinforce the poem's central message: love and pleasure are precious because they are temporary. Unlike many poems of its time, His Coy Mistress presents a secular view of death. There is no mention of heaven or hell, only the emptiness of the grave. This perspective adds to the urgency of the speaker's argument. Since there is nothing after death, all pleasure must be found in this life. The poem reflects the gender norms of its time, with the male speaker dominating the conversation and the female mistress defined by her refusal. The blazoned tradition where a woman's body is itemized and praised also reveals the objectifying tendencies of Renaissance love poetry. Written during a period of political turmoil in 17th-century England, the poem avoids direct reference to contemporary events. Instead, it focuses on universal themes of love, time, and mortality. Marvell's blend of metaphysical wit and Renaissance tradition makes the poem timeless. The poem's form, rhymed iambic tetrameter couplets, gives it a lively, energetic rhythm. This structure contrasts with the seriousness of its themes, creating a playful yet urgent tone. The poem's organization into 3 stanzas mirrors the logical progression of its argument. Marvell's poem belongs to the Carpe Diem tradition, Latin for seize the day. Like other poets before him, Marvell urges his beloved to make the most of the present since the future is uncertain and life is short. This theme resonates across centuries, making the poem relevant even today. Despite its serious subject matter, the poem is full of irony and wit. The speaker's exaggerated arguments and playful tone reveal both his desperation and his cleverness. Marvell's use of humor softens the poem's darker themes, making it both entertaining and thought-provoking. The poem's emotional landscape is complex, blending desire, fear, hope, and resignation. The speaker's passion is fueled by his awareness of mortality, creating a sense of urgency that is both exhilarating and unsettling. This emotional depth is a hallmark of metaphysical poetry. Though written centuries ago, To His Coy Mistress speaks to universal human experiences, the desire for love, the fear of death, and the longing to make life meaningful. Its themes transcend time and place, inviting readers of all ages to reflect on their own lives and choices. At its core, the poem is an exercise in persuasion. The speaker uses logic, emotion, and vivid imagery to convince his mistress to embrace love. The poem's structure, language, and tone all work together to create a compelling argument for living in the moment. His Coy Mistress has inspired countless readers and writers with its blend of passion and philosophy. Its memorable lines and striking images have become part of the literary canon, influencing poets and lovers alike. The poem's message, to seize the day and cherish love, remains as powerful as ever. To summarize, the poem explores the tension between desire and delay, the inevitability of death, and the urgency of living fully. Through its logical structure, vivid imagery, and emotional intensity, To His Coy Mistress invites us to reflect on the value of time and the importance of seizing life's pleasures. Let's take a moment to visualize the poem's key images: the lovers by distant rivers, the winged chariot of time, the deserts of eternity, and the fleeting morning dew. These images help bring the poem's abstract ideas to life, making its arguments more immediate and relatable. Marvell's mastery of poetic devices, metaphor, simile, alliteration, and more, gives the poem its distinctive voice. These techniques not only enhance the poem's musicality but also reinforce its themes, making the speaker's argument more persuasive and memorable. Even in today's fast-paced world, the poem's message resonates. The pressure to seize opportunities, the awareness of time slipping away, and the desire to live meaningfully are as relevant now as they were in Marvell's time. To His Coy Mistress reminds us to cherish the present and not let life's moments pass us by. As we conclude, reflect on how Marvell's poem challenges us to confront our own mortality and make the most of our time. Whether in love or in life, the message is clear: don't wait for the perfect moment, embrace the present, for it is all we truly have. Thank you for joining this journey through To His Coy Mistress.